You are listening to From Ring to Veil.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Kim.
And we are your wedding planning gurus.
We take the stress out
and put the fun back into wedding planning. Wedding venue trends for 2018 and choosing your venue, episode number 181.
If you haven't already, please join our Facebook group. You can find us on Facebook. We are From Ring to Veil Wedding Planning Community. We have friends and we have vendors and we have questions and answers and pictures. It's a really fun time right now on this group of wedding planning peeps. So if you haven't joined us yet, please join us.
We have our Seattle metro area wedding planning resource guide that's on Amazon for you to pick up and enjoy. FromRingToVeil.com/RG paperback and FromRingToVeil.com/RG Kindle. You can also just search it on Amazon. You'll be able to find it. Just search Seattle wedding planning.
So today we are talking more venue stuff. So venue trends, what's hot right now. We do see a lot of changing in the venue trending right now. And we're also going to talk to you a little bit more about ways to choose your venue, a couple steps that you might need to take before you decide on what venue you're going to go with. Let's start with the top wedding venue trends of 2018.
So historic venues have started coming back to be very, very popular. Old opera houses, old, historic homes in different cities and things like that, which are awesome. I love historic homes because they're all restored and they're intimate. Most of them are. You don't have to have a big, huge wedding in them. So I like that.
Like last week, we were talking about the Dallas venues. There was a historic winery. It's a winery, but it's a historic house. So obviously, that's another thing that you can turn into a venue is some kind of winery or, like you said, museums even.
Hotels are becoming more popular. There for a while, everything shifted to standalone venues. Now, hotels where you can have your ceremony and reception, everything is planned for you and all one lump sum and all one lump place. So that's why I like hotel venues.
Mm-hmm. And I think they've changed. They're now, you're just not set up in just a ballroom. They actually have outdoor spaces for you to have your weddings at that are still beautiful, that you're not looking at a wall of drapery or whatever. They've upped their game. Receptions held in restaurants is on the rise. Usually you just have a room with a bunch of tables in it, and then you have catering and all that stuff. Now they're moving it to the actual restaurant.
Right. Restaurants now, a lot of them have, if they're in their own building, they have rooftop decks on them, so you can enjoy that, or outdoor spaces.
And everything's there. The food, the alcohol. You don't have to stay and clean up. Maybe just the decor. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, everything is just all in-house right there. And it just makes it so simple. And hey, if it's your favorite restaurant, why not?
You have your favorite food.
Yes.
I like.
Because that's very important.
Right. Food's important. I'm sorry. And if it's your favorite food, you're going to enjoy it better than,
yes, you will.
It's not going to be the same chicken or steak or whatever. So.
Or salmon.
Yeah. Covered spaces, including rooftops, as I said, the restaurants, of course. But covered spaces, bars, they all have these rooftop decks now. Hey.
Or even to the side, that's covered. Even pavilions at parks and such, as long as they're covered, those things are coming back.
Mm-hmm. Tinted events, tinted ceremonies and receptions are coming back in. And now they have these see-through tents where it's just not a big white box. You can see through them. So that's kind of cool. So you can see the outside.
Even up top is see-through.
So if you have a nighttime, you can have the stars if there's not too much light in there. So
that's right. And even the upscale tents, if it's not see-through, they have. I saw a beautiful one recently that was a big tent, and the inside didn't look like the inside of a tent. They had it draped, and there were not candelabras, chandeliers. It was just beautiful. So those upscale tents are coming in.
Ceremony sites with a view. This includes cityscapes. Of course, this is also probably including rooftop decks. Again.
That's true. That's true.
So
it all works together.
Right. So cityscape views are awesome because you have the glittering of the skyscrapers and all of that. If you're in a really interesting city like Dallas or Houston, they have interesting skylines, and like Seattle, you have the Space Needle and things. So,
but you also, it doesn't have to be cityscapes, but just something with a view of mountains or forest or whatever it is. Churches are coming back. People are going back into the churches for their ceremonies and then having their receptions elsewhere, like, let's say, the restaurant. Which I don't know why people have moved away from it. Maybe there's a lot of restrictions or some restrictions in the churches. And that's why.
Well, most people, if they're not the same religion, they pick a civil ceremony. True. They don't want to get married in a church. So it's just easier to do it at a hotel or a different type of venue. So, vaulted ceilings. Anywhere with vaulted ceilings, you can have your, that's the trend now. Because they have beams. You can hang things off beams. You can move all of your decor up and not have it all on the table. Because you can have it hanging from the beams on the vaulted ceilings. So,
destination weddings. We've done a lot of location venue shows. So we did Texas, we did Montana, we did all over the Washington area. You can absolutely use those as destination weddings, as well as out of the U.S. Destination weddings, which I would love to do a Canada one. I think Vancouver, and also, on the other side, you've got Toronto and stuff. There are tons of destination wedding places, but that's on the rise. People are going elsewhere to get married, and that is absolutely fine and probably really fun.
All right. And another trend is going back indoors instead of having outdoor ceremonies, which I think is great because right now in Texas, it's 100 and something degrees, and no one wants to be outside in 100-degree weather. Your flowers die, you melt, your face, it doesn't matter if you put primer on your face or whatever, you're still going to sweat and it's still going to run. So, they can put all kinds of product on you to help you not do that. But in Texas, and it's 75% humidity and 100 degrees, there's nothing you can do.
You're going to sweat. You're going to melt.
So, I'm glad they're going back indoors. Lofts, warehouse spaces, museums, they're great places. Like lofts and warehouses, they're blank. You can do anything you want to with them. So
that's right. Urban vintage. So an historical feel with a modern touch is being, I think this is kind of where rustic was really big. Now the urban vintage is coming in. You still got a little of the historic with the rustic, and then a modern touch. It could be even a modern building with a lot of historical accents, even you can even bring a little rustic into it without going too crazy, of course.
Secret gardens. That's kind of cool.
I think so too. When we talked about the sculpture garden and botanical gardens, stuff like that, those are absolutely what we're talking about. These little beautiful gardens that you just don't really see every day.
Yeah.
You have to actually make a special trip to them.
I watched an episode of Fixer Upper yesterday where she built her own garden shed and had gardens, raised garden beds put in. And she made this garden shed. I say shed, quote unquote, it wasn't really a shed. But she goes, wouldn't this be great to have small, intimate weddings in? They can walk down this path and, so.
You're like, yes. Yes, it would be.
Because she had all these vines and these archways all over this path. And it was gorgeous, So maybe they're looking to do that. I don't know. I wouldn't want them in my house, on my property, though.
Yeah. You would have to not live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the industrial look is still popular. It's been popular for a while. Modern, industrial, metals, things like that.
So that's all the trends that we have for you right now pertaining to the wedding venue. We do, you can see things are changing a little bit. We're moving away from lots of barns, although there are still plenty out there that you can do so much with. Don't just look over them.
Barns are blank spaces too. You can do a lot of stuff with that. So
just seems like we're moving away from them a little bit. Once you find that perfect wedding venue, you can go to Zola and get your free wedding website.
You can create a wedding website in minutes. Over 100 beautiful wedding website designs to choose from that will fit your style and every type of wedding. They're all free.
On your free wedding website, you can help your guests by answering so many questions that they need to know. Can they bring their kids? Do they get a +1? You can put all of your information easily right there in one place.
If you register at Zola, your registry automatically integrates into your Zola wedding website. So if you have guests asking questions on what do you want, you can point them to your wedding website and it'll lead right to their registry.
That, I think, is probably the best feature of all this, is that you can integrate both of them and not have to send them to 2 different places. I went through there and set up one just really quickly. They had some really cute designs. One that I loved right off the bat, meaning they have so many that you can choose from. Most likely you will be able to find something that really fits your design and your feel for your wedding. To create your free wedding website on Zola, go to zola.com/FRTV. That's Zola, ZOLA.com/FRTV.
We've talked about how to choose your venue before with a special guest that we had way in the beginning of our podcast. I think it was episode number 3. We're just going to give you a little refresher of things you may need help with for choosing your venue.
First of all, you need to know your inspiration and what the ambience is that you want for your ambiance, that you want for your wedding. Are you wanting a romantic? Are you wanting kind of an outdoorsy? Are you wanting it to feel romantic and soft? Are you wanting more of a party atmosphere? What do you want?
Are you having a sports theme wedding? You can have it at a sports venue,
That's right. That's right. Just kind of know what your inspiration and what feel you want for your wedding before you go into this.
Right. Next, you need to figure out your must-haves in your venue. Okay. Do you need an outdoor ceremony site? Do you need an indoor ceremony site? If you're in the middle of summer or in the middle of winter, you're going to have something indoors because it's either hot or freezing.
That's right. Depending, where you are.
Also, you're going to have catering brought in. Are you going to have their catering? Does it need their catering or their alcohol? Or are you going to bring all that in? So you need to know your must-haves in a venue.
Is the date or the venue more important to you? Do you have to get married on this certain date? Because if that's true, then maybe the venue is not as important because it's very hard to get the first date that you absolutely want with the venue that you absolutely want, because a lot of times they're already booked. So you have to figure out which one's more important to you, the date or the venue, and then go.
Right. Consider your budget. They have all-inclusives. Sometimes venues have all-inclusive things where you can get everything in there and the price may shock you, but then you're like, wait a minute, I don't have to pick this or I don't have to pick that. Or do you only have, a smaller budget where you can, figure out your budget for your venue that you want?
Keep your guest in mind, the logistics of it. How are they going to be able to get there? Are they coming from the airport? Is it a super long drive to get out there even after they get to the airport? Is it difficult to find? Does it come up on GPS easily? What about parking? Are you going to bus the guests in, or are they going to have to come in park? Is there enough parking? What about bathrooms? If it's an outdoor thing, is there bathrooms? You're going to have to supply that. And if not, are you going to hire the bathrooms, which they have actually some pretty cool little potties that they can bring out to you, some wedding potties. So you really have to keep your guests in mind because they're the ones that are coming. And if you make it too difficult for them to come, they're not going to.
I mean, some of these venues are way out in the middle of nowhere, and it's very hard to find.
And if GPS can't find them, then it's going to be even more difficult. A lot of people say, well, Google Maps can find us, but Apple Maps can't. Right. So, make it easy for your people.
Always visit your venue. When you choose one, when you're choosing a venue, visit it. Even do a couple of site visits. Do one in the beginning, pick it, and do one at the, closer to the date so you can finalize everything. So visit your venue. If you can't, let's say you're doing a destination wedding, have a friend go and Skype you in or something and do some kind of a tour that way. Yeah. Or If you have a planner that you're working with, if you're doing a destination wedding, your planner can help you with that too, because she can take you all around.
Use your planner if you're hiring one. She can do some stuff for you. Or he, I guess I should say. Do they allow outside vendors, or is it all inclusive, or somewhere in between? Maybe they only allow outside alcohol, or maybe you have to bring in every vendor. What works best for you? Do you want all inclusive? Because if you want all inclusive, but they have nobody, you might look elsewhere. Think about what you need and what you want.
Trust your gut. If you walk in and you say, this is it, this is my favorite thing, then trust your gut. If you walk in and says no, it's like when you're searching for a house, you can walk into a house and say, oh God, no.
Right.
Right when you walk in, you have that feeling like, no, this ain't going to work. But same thing with your venue. You walk in, you're like, oh, there's rainbows and sparkles all around. So
hopefully this helps you a little bit, easing your mind, giving you a little instruction on how to go about finding your venue. You can go to our website, fromringtovel.com/181, and print out these if you want. Tidbits on how to choose your venue, and you can check things off and make notes, if you're that kind of a person, or you can speak your notes into your phone or whatever. I'm just saying, you are, please, what's the word I'm trying to say? We're inviting you to please print off our information here. We absolutely have no problem with that. So if that helps you out. If you're looking for some swag and you want to support us and show the people that you have a favorite podcast, you can find some of our From Ring to Veil swag at fromringtoveil.com/TEE. And we have t-shirts and mugs and totes, pillows, all kinds of stuff, as well as bridal shirts. I'm the bride. I'm the mother of the bride. I'm a junior bride, that kind of thing. You can check that out again from ringtoveil.com/T.
Don't forget about our Facebook group, the From Ring to Veil Wedding Planning Community, and our Facebook page. We're there all the time. Ask questions, seek advice.
Subscribe to the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube, but you can't really see anything. You can just listen.
Yeah, you don't see our faces. Sorry. Until next time, no stress, no worries. Keep calm and listen on.
Music provided by bensound.com.